Hello friends. Well, my name is Sunil Ranjan and I am an English faculty member. Now here I have come up with the poem Hunger by Jayant Mahapatra. So first telling you about Jayant Mahapatra. Jayant Mahapatra is an Indian English poet. He was born in 1928 in Cuttack, Orissa. He is the first Indian poet to win a Sahitya Academy Award for English poetry. He is the author of poems such as Indian Summer and Hunger, which are regarded as classics in modern Indian English literature. He was awarded a Padma Shri, the fourth highest civilian honor in India, in 2009. He returned the award in 2015 to protest against rising intolerance in India. Deeply rooted in Indian ethos, Jayant Mahapatra's poems reflect his fascination for Indian myth, culture, heritage, and legends. He is regarded as the true poet of the soil. His themes purely depict the Indian way of life with its realities. His poems carry the backdrop of Indian landscape. His writing resonates with the portrayal of contemporary Indian society, blending the past with the present and creating an idea of the future. Living in his hometown in Orissa, most of his poems center around the happenings and the lives of the people of his soil. However, he beautifully uses the microcosms of his native land to capture, portray, and comment on the macrocosm of India. His recurring themes mostly are poverty, prostitution, social exploitation, economic degradation, alienation, and solitude. Now, here the poem Hunger clearly speaks of the need for food and the hunger for flesh and sex. The poem reveals the plight of a fisherman who offers his daughter for sex in order to survive. One can feel the deep pain and anguish of the father. Hunger imposes tragic compulsions that lead to such a pathetic state of the poor fisherman father and his helpless daughter, who offers her flesh to men for their sexual gratification. Now, coming to the poem. So first I read out the 5 lines and then I will offer the explanation. So the poem goes here. It was hard to believe the flesh was heavy on my back. The fisherman said, "Will you have her?" carelessly, trailing his nets and his nerves, as though his words sanctified the purpose with which he faced himself. I saw his white bone Thrash's eyes. Now the explanation. The poet points to the naked truth by admitting that he had a strong and burning desire to have sex. The fisherman offers his daughter to the poet to have sex with and fulfill his physical requirement of the moment. While offering his daughter, the fisherman continues to trail his nets casually as a normal routine. It seemed that the fisherman had been ready for the harsh and ugly reality that he faced. The poet could sense his helplessness beating in his eyes. Now, the lines again come. I followed him across the sprawling sands, my mind thumping in the flesh's sling. Hope lay perhaps in burning the house I lived in. Silence gripped my sleeves. His body clawed at the froth. His old nets had only dragged up from the seas. Now, coming to the explanation. Here the poet describes his movement across the stretching sands on the seashore with a sense of guilt of going to have sex to satisfy the burning desire running through his body. His mind was thumping at the thought of having sex, but at the same time ridden with guilt to be going to satisfy his physical need. Perhaps he had not been happy with his married life. He undergoes such a tense state that he finds hope in setting his own house on fire. Silently, he watched the fisherman pulling his net back with nothing except the froth from the sea. Now, the lines that follow are, in the flickering dark, his lean-to opened like a wound. The wind was I, and the days and nights before. Palm fronds scratched my skin. Inside the shack, an oil lamp splayed the hours bunched to those walls. Over and over, the sticky suit crossed the space of my mind. Now, coming to the explanation. Now comes the picture inside the dark hut of the fisherman. The entrance to the hut opened like a wound, telling the pain and anguish that lay within. The wind is used here metaphorically to mean the poet who had been wildly driven by his urge to have sex. The days and nights before mean the continuity of offering the female body for money to manage the poor life of the fisherman and his daughter anyhow. Leaves of palm trees scratched the poet's skin as if blocking his way to the young helpless daughter of the fisherman inside. Inside the hut, a burning oil lamp and the soot forming seemed to have confined life to the walls of the hut. The poet was deeply shaken by such an unnerving experience. Now, the lines are here. I heard him say, my daughter, she's just turned 15. Feel her, I'll be back soon. Your bus leaves at 9. The sky fell on me and a father's exhausted while. Long and lean, her ears were cold as rubber. She opened her wormy legs wide. I felt the hunger there. The other one, the fish slithering, turning inside. Now the explanation. In the last stanza of the poem, the fisherman speaks to the poet about his daughter who has just turned 15. She is just a teenager. He tells the poet to feel the warmth of her body and have sex with her. The fisherman informs further that he will be back soon, as he knows well that the poet's bus leaves at 9. The poet felt deeply disturbed, and it seemed as if the world had fallen apart and the sky had fallen upon him. The fisherman seemed to have become tired of playing trick upon customers to have sex with his daughter and continue to survive anyhow. The fisherman's weak and lean young daughter has turned cold like rubber that is tossed to the clients. Following her routine, she opened her thin legs wide. The poet felt deeply anguished to notice the pangs of hunger churning in her that had forced her father to offer his daughter in order to get some money from the clients and continue to move on with his pathetic human existence. The meaning of hunger here runs at two levels. The one of the poet for sexual gratification, and the other that has resulted from the utter poverty and helplessness of the fisherman and his daughter. The striking feature of the poem is the realistic portrayal of the three characters and the response in the disturbing situation. The poet Jayant Mahapatra has drawn the picture of a marginalized chunk of society remarkably well through literal and metaphorical use of words and expressions. So friends, here I come to the end of the explanation of the poem Hunger by Jayant Mahapatra. And if you subscribe to my channel, you will find countless videos on literature and English language. Thank you.